You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult in finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C, aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading. You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult in finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C, aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading.
Hey guys, good evening. We are back here Thursday night, Leadership Stack Live. Thank you guys for being here. I know I rolled that twice, and I usually don't do so, but it's been one heck of a day, and my goodness, I'm just spent. But I'm always excited to be here, always excited to be able to answer your questions and help you out. And I just want to share the podcast, new episodes we have this week. We have episode 289 to 291. That's November 2, 3, and 4. And those are episodes that if you are starting out your, you have a startup business, you're the CEO, you're the manager, you're the leader, you might want to tune into these episodes. We have episodes from Jeff Worker, and we have a new guest published from this is Vince Warnock, and I learned a lot during this interview that I did with him actually, and it's all about branding and marketing. And if you're wondering what's the difference between having a good brand and marketing well, this is the episode for you. This 19 minutes jam packed with tons of learnings for me, and I'm sure you're going to be able to learn from that as well. If you haven't subscribed or followed us yet, we are the Leadership Stack podcast on Spotify, and on YouTube, it's the Leadership Stack. You could follow us on YouTube as well. We do have a new Facebook group which you can get into. There's a link down there, leadme.ph/Facebook. So that is if you want to ask your questions or you want to get in touch with me, I am there. You could just leave a comment or post there in the group itself, and you could also promote your business there. What you are doing, we want to know. Before I hop into the questions, I just want you guys to know we are giving away t-shirts, and I am actually wearing one. This says less of myself, more of a leader. Not sure if you can see it here, but let's see. There. Oh, it's the other way around, but yeah, that's the shirt I'm wearing. So it's Leadership Stack merchandise, and we wanted to kind of like allow people to remember what we stand for, and so we created some artwork and put it in t-shirts and stickers as well. Um, you could get your t-shirts. I'm going to let you guys know where you can get one, but we are also going to give it away. And for you to appreciate the shirts more, I'm just going to roll a short video clip here about the shirt. There you go. It looks nicer without me wearing it. So actually, the video is really, really good. Thank you for the video, Leadership Stack team. Really appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hop in to the questions. We don't have a guest this week. It's just me. I'm sorry to say, you guys. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys, but yeah, it's just me answering your questions tonight. So yeah, the first question from Jemimaya. Hello, Sir Sean. I would just like to ask, how do you encourage a 50-year-old to start another business venture? The guy already has a background in business. In fact, he's a business owner for over 12 years now. But the problem is the business that he's in is something he's not passionate about. Okay. Well, Colonel Sanders was, I think, in his retirement years when he started KFC. So, and you know how KFC is doing today, right? It's an international brand. There are a lot of people that actually started business beyond 50 years old and have experienced global success. So it's not unusual, it's not uncommon for someone to be able to do that. I know that when you're 50, you might be thinking you're not as cutting edge. And if you do not study up, if you don't invest in yourself, learn new things, maybe that would be the case. Maybe that would be the case. So if you are more advanced in years, you're not millennial, you're not a centennial, you're a Gen Xer, a baby boomer, you feel like you're not so techy, and today it's technology that's driving the world, you will have to study a lot. You will have to if you want to get into a business that's cutting edge. But if you're looking to get into a business that's established, more traditional, then that's going to take less learning and more hustling. So it really depends on what kind of business you want to get into. If you're not passionate about your business now, but you're making money from it, I'd say that's still a pretty good business. You do have the option to sell it and sell it for a profit and use that money to retire to live out the rest of your days. That's an option. If you're 50, you want to retire early, that sure is an option. But in my opinion, if your business is making money, even if you're not passionate about it, that's still a pretty good business, because most businesses actually don't make money or fail or flop in the first 5 years. So yeah, that's my advice on that. I hope that helps, Shemimaya. Question from V: how much time and energy does it take to start a business? A lot. I cannot I cannot stress how much time and energy it does take to start a business. It takes it takes your life out of you, right? That's how much energy, that's how much life you need to spend if you're gonna start a business. And the stress you will go through with people, the people who will betray you, like it happens. Like almost all entrepreneurs have that story, that there are some people who just disappoint them, frustrate them, stab them in the back, try to burn the business down. In my case, I experienced all of it. And I know a lot of entrepreneur friends who actually have similar scenarios. So that alone is huge amounts of stress and energy that's going to be spent from you. And yeah, I cannot stress it enough how much time and energy it does take. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot. Without sacrifice, there's no progress and there's no success. If you find success, it's because someone else made the sacrifices for you if you didn't sacrifice yourself. So yeah, sacrifice is definitely necessary. How much would be the safe amount of funds to have before I start a business? The safe amount of funds would always be something that would cover up your expenses for the first 1 or 2 years of the business, I'd say. Because the more money you take out from the business, whether it's profits or it's from the business capital, the less chances of your business succeeding. So you will want to have like a year's worth at least of your expenditures covered, plus the capital to start the business. That for me would be playing it safe if you're going to start a business that way with that much capital. So iba pa yung capital mo, iba pa yung like safety net or emergency funds for yourself for a year. How integral is a business plan and a marketing plan before starting a business? Not so integral, in my opinion. Like in my case, I didn't have a business and a marketing plan. I kind of like just did it and winged it while I was there. But I know not everyone would say the same thing, especially for those people who studied masters, like took an MBA or masters in entrepreneurship, depending on what school. I know that they would argue otherwise, that they would say that this is very important, you have to have that. If you don't plan to succeed, then you're planning to fail, sure. But for me, in my case, I didn't have any of that. I didn't have a marketing or business plan. I just did it. I showed up, I did it. And in my case, it was a series of divine interventions and appointments, which one thing led to another. And SEO Hacker, started out very small. It was a one-man team, and I just grew it from there. I just saw the next turn in the road. I just saw the next turn in the road, and I turned that way, and I turned this way, and that's it. I didn't see the whole path to the mountain, to the finish line. I didn't see that. I just saw the next bend. I saw the next turn. And I just go through that bend, and that's it. And I just do that. And having a marketing plan and a business plan sometimes gets in the way. Honestly, I see it sometimes getting in the way, in the sense that people would have a robust plan from start to finish, and then they'd be like, are we really going to do this? Are we really going to spend this much for this? Are we really going to sacrifice this amount of time for this? Sometimes the planning gets in the way. Instead of just doing it and seeing the next bend, I would rather go with the latter. Just do it. Just show up and see the next bend and make a turn. That's how I do it. How did you compute for your prices? How did you know they're the correct price for your services? Well, it's funny because the first time that I priced my services is based on Google, and it's based on US dollar amount. So I just researched about how much SEO costs from the US, and whatever Google returned, that's what I used when I was starting out, and that was like $1,000 a month. Now I'm at 2,500 a month, but the reason I increased my prices is because of our branding, of the level of services that we deliver now, the quality of services that we deliver now, the extra mile that we do for our clients, the seamless, frictionless experience we give our clients, and SEO became more expensive as well. So I could see the international prices have increased dramatically. So I think that the price bracket where SEO Hacker is on the cheap side. Okay, so internationally speaking, SEO Hacker is on the cheap side, but here locally speaking, we're one of the most expensive SEO companies already here in the country. So it depends on how you're going to look at it. I am trying to improve the pricing of SEO as a service and as a specialization in the country, because it is a beautiful practice. It is a very good specialization, and selling it for cheap will not help the industry at all. It will not help. So I'm trying to be the driver for better prices for SEO services. Also, I'm also the driver for better quality SEO services overall, making sure that the practice is ethical. The SEO service that you give is ethical in Google's eyes, follow Google standards and guidelines. That's what I'm driving for. Better SEO at better prices. I know that there are freelancers in other companies who don't agree with that because they're cutting their prices cheaper and also cutting costs along the way, but I don't want to do it that way. For me, it's an important industry. I love this industry, and I would rather drive it forward, drive the price higher and the quality higher as well. How long is the prep stage for the products or services before launching them? Prep stage, I would say, like, I don't think like I do it that way. I'm more of a believer of the lean startup method by Eric Rice. So when I think of a new product or service, I offer it and then I launch it, and I make sure, of course, that I have the complete idea of how to do such a product or service. But if no one buys it, then it's not viable for me. But if people start buying that product or service, then for me that makes sense, right? So I just launch it and see if people will buy it, if customers will buy it. So, for example, SEO Hacker has multiple services. How did you know when they were ready to launch? I knew, like, SEO had demand. Like with our brand, at least, when you search for our keywords, SEO Philippines being one of them, we're at number one. We get a lot of leads from there, and a lot of people in my circle of influence also know that we're number one when it comes to SEO. So it was easy for me to offer SEO. Social media marketing was also a no-brainer. Like, people wanted more exposure on social media, so launching that product was no-brainer. The other services that we have are directly related with SEO: site speed, site security, SEM, PPC, email sales automation. That's directly related with SEO, so it was a no-brainer to launch them. um, new new products or services, such as like mobile mobile apps, translating your WordPress site to a mobile app. Yeah, we have that service right now. It's, for me, it's more of selling it and see if people will buy it. Of course, I used it myself for some of my own assets, like the aquascape.ph website. I used it there. We have our mobile app right now, before I offer it to clients. So I make sure it works. I make sure I figured it out end to end before I sell it to our clients. You have a question from Nino. I'm not sure if having a lot of SKUs guarantee revenue. No, it doesn't. Should I focus on a couple of products only and capitalize on them? Yes, I think so. So even with like some of my clients right now who have like a lot of SKUs, like thousands of SKUs, different sizes, different colors, different products, definitely. There are only, like, in a month's time, there's only gonna be like 5 to 10 SKUs that are giving you like 80% of your revenue. That's kind of always the case. It's always the case. So I'd say focus on a couple of products and be the best in those products, or in case of services, be the best in those services and focus on those things. With SEO Hacker, we're best known for SEO because it's in the brand name. So we focused on SEO, and that's what we're best known for. That's where we also make the most money in, long term. In the first year, we don't make a lot of money, but long term, we do make a good profit out of it. So yeah, we focus on SEO, even if we have a whole suite of different other services, which I mentioned earlier. So I would say, yeah, focus on a couple and invest in them heavily. Make sure your branding is really good in those areas and be the best, because that's where you're gonna make the most money. The more the more that I learn, the more loopholes I find in my business. Yep, that tends to be the case, especially if you want to do it right. If you want to do it ethically, that's what you're gonna find out. They say that you shouldn't fall in love with your idea. However, doing hard pivots is somehow hard for me. What do you suggest? Well, I suggest you look at the data. Data speaks, and if the data is telling you that you have to make a hard pivot or you're gonna die, you gotta listen. That is very, very important. So I do have some products before, like for example, I do have a service that I offered clients that would allow for a pop-up on the lower left or right section, and shows visitors of the website their reviews from Google and their reviews from Facebook automatically, and it pulls these reviews and it would pop up, and that's social proof. But I offered it to our clients, and not a lot of clients wanted it in their website. So there's the data, but that actually didn't cost me a lot. So that product that I got and I offered to my clients, it didn't cost me a lot. Doesn't cost a lot to install as well. So it's all right if it didn't work. So I make small risks, but if it works, would be very profitable. That's how I want to play it. But in your case, you just got to listen to the data. Make sure that your startup is data driven. You're gathering feedback from people. You listen to the feedback you're getting. And if the data says that you got to make a turn, you got to pivot, then you got to make that pivot. Otherwise, your business is going to suffer and die. And who's to blame? No one but you, because you're CEO, right? So I hope that helps, Nino. And thanks for tuning in here tonight. Hey, Sean was very busy these past few weeks. Really good to be back. Thank you for being back. I'm glad you're back. And busy is always good. That means things are happening for you. I'm very happy for you, Nino. I hope that the wind's blowing your way, if you know what I mean. Ron, hey, thanks for tuning in. How much personal money have you spent during the first 3 years of SEO Hacker? Personal money? Probably like, I don't know. I maybe would be spending like 10 to 15K a month for my personal stuff. That includes my gas, and I use gas, of course, to meet clients. That includes my food on the road. I usually eat fast food like Mang Inasal, Jollibee. And of course, that's also because I'm meeting clients or doing talks and seminars for companies. So the money I was spending was representation money. It's sales money. So I'm doing sales. I'm the only sales guy, right? And I'll spend like somewhere 10 to 15K for my personal stuff. I consider that personal. I don't consider that as company expense, my gas and my food meeting clients, because I own the business. So I consider it personal expense. Other than that, I wouldn't buy so much useless stuff during that time. So all the useless stuff you see at my back, I bought it when I was like 7 years doing the business. But first 3 years, I didn't buy so much stuff. I would really be very frugal, and I'd manage my finances very thriftily, especially against myself. I'd be very thrifty against myself. So I think it's pretty good. If you're a bootstrapped entrepreneur, you got no investors like me. I had no investors, started out with a 1,300 peso capital. I think it's good to be thrifty against yourself and just be frugal with your money. Hey Kazu, ready na ma-inspire ulit na ako. I'm glad you're inspired when you're here rather than the opposite. And I hope I bring value to you tonight. Um, Another question from Ron. Do you think when starting out, one can get away forging documents just to get past bureaucracy faster? Definitely. I think one can get away. To be honest, I do think so. Because, like, the government is just so inefficient. And they're like not checking every nook and cranny. That's what I think. They're inefficient and they're under budgeted and all the wrong things that can go in a government. That's what's going on in our government. So I do think you can, but I don't think you should. Yeah, I don't think you should, because that's gonna come back and bite you in the ass someday. Like that's my opinion right there. From Kazu, just curious, Sean, do you get lots of leads for the keyword SEO Philippines? I do get a good amount of lead. I wouldn't say lots. Like, I've seen my clients make lots of leads. My clients make lots of leads. For like this year, we didn't get. I wouldn't say I got a lot of leads from SEO Philippines, but I got good leads from that keyword. But it will really depend, right? Because I think people who search for that keyword would click on the top 3, top 4, and they would like inquire and ask for quotations. That's what a smart purchaser would do. So we still have competition. We're still competing. Yeah, we're number one, but we're still competing with the bid. So it would still depend on who presented the best presentation to the client. It would still depend on who fits with the budget of the client, right? Clients have budgets. They have to make that budget fit. And if we're too expensive, then they're still not going to go with SEO Hacker, right? So what's your view on keyword plus location pages? I think that's the best way to go, because that's usually how people search. Keyword plus location or geolocation. That's how people search. I feel like parang mga kapwa SEO din nagsearch. Not really. I think if you check the SEO Philippines keyword search volume, it has a pretty good search volume. So the likelihood of like only SEO people searching for that month on month is not likely. Like, I would say like at least 50% of that are legitimate clients, right? And I'm being very conservative, at least 50% of that. And I've talked with clients, like they themselves tell me, I found you because of that keyword SEO Philippines, and I went with you because you're ranking number one. I have clients who tell me that. So it is 100% legit that we rank number one for that keyword. And it is very important for me that we rank number one for that keyword. Hope that helps. Keep mentioning ethically numerous times. Why is that? Has ethics been an issue? No, but if you do SEO unethically, Google can penalize you and take you out of the search engine results page, and you don't get found anymore, and you don't get search traffic anymore, which is very painful for any business, especially now in the digital age. So sadly, a lot of SEO companies, even here in the Philippines, do SEO unethically because it's cheaper, and the clients have no idea if what they're doing is ethical or unethical. I've never done that for any of my clients. That's why SEO Hacker is pretty popular with the big brands. If you see our client portfolio, we handle some of the biggest companies here in the Philippines. I do mean the biggest, and that's because we do it ethically, and we're widely known for doing SEO ethically, completely ethically. In fact, I'm not sure if we're the only company doing that here. We probably are, but everyone would say that they're doing it completely ethically, right? But the proof is in the pudding. I wouldn't have those big companies working with us up to today if we are not doing it completely ethically for them, and them ranking very high up to today. Do you own SEO Hacker's single proprietor business pre 2019? I incorporated it 2015 because of SM. I had to incorporate it. SM doesn't deal with sole proprietors. I registered it as a sole proprietor 2011 because of Rockwell. Rockwell doesn't deal with freelancers. I was a freelancer then. and I had to register it in DTI to deal with Rockwell. And then 2015 came, SM came in. They said they don't deal with sole proprietors, so I had to incorporate. That's when I incorporated. Ron says, so sad, interesting. Yep, I'm not SEO, but knowing how Google works make me search like an SEO guy. Yeah, it's very interesting how Google works. That interested me early on, and I'm still learning up to today. Google's still changing every quarter. The algorithm changes. It's hard to keep up, but yeah, that's what we got to do. It's our business, it's our specialization, it's our work. How do you know when it's time to build a new department? This is, well, for me, it's just knowing the heartbeat of my company. If we are suffering in a certain area because I'm not able to focus in that area anymore, then I know I have to hire. Or if there are people in my team who are too disgruntled, they're overburdened, then that's a sign for me that I have to maybe start a new department. Either hire more people or start a new department altogether and offload some of their work to a new department. It's more like an art, really. You just don't know. Like data will not tell you you need to start this department. A blueprint will not tell you you need to start this department unless you have an outside consultant, a board of advisors that you're paying, which of course can get expensive, or mentors who are like invested in your business, who are knee deep in your business and who can see your business from a bird's eye view, who will tell you you need a new department here, here, or here. Then that's an easy way to know it's time to build a new department. Right now, how I do it is really by being hands on and feeling the heartbeat of my team. And that's how I know if I need to build a new department. Also, if I need to quit a certain job or position in my company, like for example, I need to quit being the main marketing guy, then that's the reason why I had to start a marketing team. And I started marketing team only this year because previous years I've been doing it myself. I also asked our specialist team to help me out there, but generally we were able to do it ourselves, so we didn't need a new department then. But now that we're growing and we feel the weight of new clients coming in, then I had to start a marketing department, and I'm very thankful and happy that I got the right people there, because that really helps a lot. When you get the wrong people in the new department, that's gonna be a disaster. It's just gonna burn the department down. You have to start over. It's such a big hassle. Churn is very expensive. Rehiring and retraining is very expensive. So yeah, you gotta really pray and prepare for starting before starting a new department. You gotta have the right people in place. Is it true that if you have your own business, you're more in control of your time? It's true, and it's not true at the same time, because if you gotta sprint work, like last Friday, I worked until 12:20 in the morning. Yeah, I'm CEO for 11 years, but I still work like that. It's not every day, but there are those days where you gotta work super hard, super long hours. And last week was it for me. I mean, I worked really hard last week to finish stuffs that I needed to finish. And so I chose to do it. I chose to work like that because we were leaving for a family trip over the weekend. So you could still say that I have control of my time, but on the other hand, I had to do it because we were leaving for the weekend, so I couldn't really do it while I was on a vacation trip, right? Because I was driving, I was doing everything. We went camping in Batangas, so I had to set up our tent, I had to set up our awning, our food, what all of these things, and I couldn't like finish that work while I was there. So I had to finish it while I was at home. Friday night, when everyone else is partying, I was working until 12:20 in the morning. That's what happens when you're CEO. Hope that helps. People are so diverse. How do you build a company culture and make sure it sticks? Company culture is built from processes. It's how you do things, how you do things around here. That's really it. And for me, it's about setting your mission, vision statements, your core values, maybe having a purpose statement as well, and communicating that repeatedly to everyone in the team. Just and making sure that you promote by it, you penalize by it, you fire by it, you hire by it. Like, our core values are not just writing in the wall. it's alive and it's gonna bite you if you don't follow it. If you violate our core values, it's gonna bite you, right? So it's not just writings on the wall. That helps meld the culture together. And we're very diverse. Like in SEO Hacker, we got all sorts of people. People who like games, who like Korean drama, who like Korean pop culture, people who like horror movies, people who like we got all sorts of like all of these gender things as well that's going on. Yeah, we got every sort of people in the team, and the culture helps meld everyone together because it is lived out, it's practiced, it's how we do things around here. And that's where a lot of companies miss it. They think that if you publish your core values, your mission, vision, purpose statements, and put it in the wall, that's it. That's it. Like that's it ends there. My work ends there. But it doesn't. You gotta make it alive. You gotta make sure that it is backed up. It's how you do things around here. If you don't do it that way, then it's going to yeah, it's not going to happen. It's just going to be disregarded. Hey Mitch, thanks for sharing about how you transitioned from being a freelancer to corpo. Yeah, no problem. It's not that hard. When you're freelance, I personally went to DTI. I registered my company myself. I didn't have like a lawyer do it for me. But when I incorporated, since I didn't know how to write the articles of incorporation, then I had to hire a lawyer to do that for me. But during that time, SEO Hacker was making money anyway. So I also shouldn't be spending my time learning about how to write the articles of incorporation. I should spend my time closing deals out there. So that's why I hired a lawyer to do that for me. And incorporating an SEC took a long time for me. That took longer than getting my sole proprietor um, stuffs, papers from DTI. So it's super easy to start a sole prop. It takes longer to start a corp, but I hear that things have improved now, and you can get your corp papers out in a faster time frame. That's what I hear. But yeah, so it did take a while. I didn't start out registering my company as a corp or a sole prop because it has its expenses. I mean, if you're going to register as a sole prop, you also have to register your company in BIR, and then you now have these business renewal fees in the municipio, and that costs something every year. So I started out as a freelancer talaga, and I made sure that I was making money first before I spent any money in corporation papers, DTI papers. The government makes money from that, and the government assumes that you're making money as well. But a lot of businesses, the truth is, they're not making money, and you're paying the government without you making money. So it's a negative double whammy for me. So I'd rather have a working business that's making money before I do all of these paper requirements with the government. That's how I personally would do it. This is not like legal or professional advice. I'm not a professional entrepreneur, right? I'm just a guy who's trying to help you guys out, adding value to you every Thursday night, and that's how I did it. That's how I think you could do it. From Ron, have you invested in other companies? Yes, I have invested in other companies. I do have a sugar farm in Bacolod. That is a company. It is a farm. It's old school. It's traditional, but sugar farm, very good business. Um, I have invested recently in another company selling plants, and again, not high tech company, but not a tech company, but there you go. And I do have another one in the works with a tech company this time, and it's a small investment, but I'm happy about that. It's a tech company. I'm excited about the technology that they're doing, and we're still in the works. So the investment has not yet been signed and fulfilled, but I am slated out to be an investor there as well. So yeah, I have invested in other companies as well. But yeah, so usually when I invest, I'm like a silent partner. I don't want to make the decisions there. I just give my advice, and then sila na yung bahala. I also make sure that when I invest, it's a good investment, as much as possible, the company's making money already. That's when I invest. Okay. From Bry, hello. Can a sole proprietor call themselves CEO? Of course, you can call yourself anything, right? I mean, honestly, if you own the business, you can call yourself anything. Put anything in the credit card. You could be general manager, you could be CEO, you could be COO. There are some company owners, they give themselves goofy titles. That's fine. I mean, it's however you want to wing it. You own the thing. You give yourself a title. Yeah, that's what I think. So I gave myself the title CEO, even if my first office was in the attic of my parents' house, and it was hot and steamy, and I didn't have an aircon, and I would usually work there without a t-shirt on. So you can imagine it's nothing glorious, and my title and my calling card is CEO. And so, yep, safer method to build a business. Preach. Invest in you. I don't know what you're doing yet, so you gotta explain to me what you're doing. Email, and then let's see what we can do, right? I mean, um, I'm open to ideas, but I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna do it or not. I need to hear first what you guys are doing over there. How do you monitor your team members without making them feel like you're micromanaging them? We got softwares going on for us. So we use Hub Staff. That is something that I'm very happy with. We've been using it for like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years now. Been a while. And that's what we use for tracking time, screenshots. I love it. I do recommend it. If you can get it for your team, Hub Staff, get it for your team. It does track your salespeople as well. It can track where they are because your phone has a GPS. If they're running it on their phone while they're on tour meeting clients, then you could track where they are. And that makes sense because you pay salespeople for their time. You got to know they should be accountable. Accountability is very important. People should be accountable to people in a team. I'm accountable to my team. The stuffs that I do, the tasks that I finish, people see it in my company. They know I'm working. They know what I'm working on. And I also expect the same from them. They have to be accountable, not really to me, because like I don't check everyone's stuffs anymore. Like it's too much, but my team leaders do. So they're accountable to their team leaders, and we do track the time. We do track where they're spending their time in URLs, apps. The software Hub Staff does take like 3 screenshots every 10 minutes, so that's not so invasive at all. But that helps you have an idea if people are just leaving their monitor on and playing a macro somewhere in their software, and that helps us have an idea when people are stealing time. In the services business, people really don't steal anything but time. Time is money in the services industry. So that's what we do want to prevent. We want to prevent time pilferage, and we use software. We also use Monday.com. Monday.com is very expensive though, so I can't really recommend that. But it has a time tracking feature for our projects, and that is very important for me. So that's what we use for our projects. I hope that helps. Aside from that, we make sure that we uphold the culture, and we honor our core values. That helps a lot. As a business owner, what should you do to avoid being scammed? Be in the know and be smart. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of common sense to avoid being scammed, to be honest. If something's being offered to you that's too good to be true, often it is. 99% of the time it is. And that's when people get scammed because of greed. They wanna believe the 1% scenario, that it really is too good to be true. But it's a 1% scenario. The chances of that happening is super unlikely. There was a time when I had someone in my circle of friends and he told me to invest. And he said that the returns are like 12% per month, was it? I forgot. But it was a crazy amount, an unbelievable amount. And I knew at the end of the day, it's not gonna work. Like you're giving me 12% per month. You're giving me post-dated checks. And like you're saying it's guaranteed 12%. It smelled like scam from a mile away. But he's a good friend of mine, and I asked, how long have you been doing this? It was pretty early that he was doing it, so I said, yeah, sure, I'll put in a small amount of money. So I did, and I withdrew everything after 6 months. So I made money from there, and he asked me if I wanted to invest again. I said I'll pass. I need the money for something else. So I did make money from that, but I did learn like months after that guy just disappeared, right? So you have to really know when a scam is a scam. It's common sense. So I knew at the very beginning it was a scam. I didn't put a lot of money there. I just put a very small amount. It did make money, so I'm happy about that. And I did reinvest because I got all the warning signs. And if you're financially literate, you've invested in personal finance management, you listen to personal finance advice, then you know what kind of scam a scam is. Well, you know what makes a scam. And that was, yeah, that was a scam. And I think to avoid being scammed, just getting to know, invest in yourself, know what is too good to be true, and don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Can we petition to change your title as CEO, Chief Search Engine Officer? Up to you. If you want to use that in our Facebook group, go ahead, right? I mean, I don't mind CSEO, but yeah, with my clients, go. It's always gonna be CEO. It has to have a certain level of respect with it, if you know what I mean. How do you handle financial crisis in business? Well, thankfully, I haven't had to deal with one, but like right now, we got a lot of clients who are having a hard time paying us. I wouldn't say that they don't want to pay us. Well, we do have one company that I think doesn't want to pay us, but they're from abroad. Usually, like foreign companies, when they, yeah, foreign companies are pretty tough to deal with. But a lot of my clients here in the Philippines, I wouldn't say they don't want to pay. It's just that they're also having collection problems, and it's a good thing that the company is financially healthy, SEO Hacker, so that we don't really need to like beg them to pay us. But we do our due diligence in sending them emails and reminders to actually settle their liabilities because we do have the contract and we can take legal action. So, of course, that's the last resort. We wouldn't want to muddy our relationship with our clients, but we can resort to that if push comes to shove and we are at the verge of a financial crisis. That's the last thing I would want to have in SEO Hacker. And basically, in order to avoid financial crisis, you just have to manage your finances really well. As a business owner, make sure you keep yourself in check because you also control the money. Don't spend a lot for stuffs you don't need, right? Don't spend for liabilities as well. Don't buy too many cars. Don't buy too many stuffs that deteriorate in terms of their price. Invest in assets. If you have more things that you can buy that would increase in its value, that's where you invest your money in. That's being smart and wise. And that's how you avoid financial crisis as well when doing business. And also, don't be greedy, right? Don't be greedy. Know what your limit is. Know what a safe play would be. Don't buy a stock and put like 90% of your money there. Because if that stock drops, you're going to want to wait for it to go up or you're going to be selling at a loss. So if ever you're gonna like invest, don't invest like a dangerous amount. Maybe just invest 20%, 10%, whatever your business can handle, with you still having a safety net or an emergency fund if you're running a startup business. That I think is playing it safe and being wise with your finances. What are your business strategies to survive the pandemic? Number one is you pray. I think I think that's the best way to do it. Just ask God for help, rely on Him for daily provisions. Jesus Himself said, this is how you pray: Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And then He goes on to say, Give us this day our daily bread. And that's being reliant on God. Like Jesus is God. He didn't need to say, give me my daily bread, right? He's God. He could just say, I want to turn this stone into bread so that I have something to eat. But in humility, he asks God, give me my daily bread. And I think that's how we should be, even as business owners, even employees. Like, even if you know, I'm going to get a salary like X amount next month, or as a business owner, I'm going to get X this much money as revenue next month or something. I think we should still have the humility to ask God, please be the one to provide for me, because everything comes from Him, and in a whim He could take it all away. He could take away your business, your clients, your suppliers. He could raise up new competitors for you that would give you a hard time, and it all boils down to our humility with God. So I think prayer would be one of the best strategies for your business to survive the pandemic. The second one would be frugal. Be super frugal with yourself. Don't spend needlessly. Like, if you have X amount of money, make sure that you keep like 99% of that. And with the 1% that you can spend, make sure that you spend it on what you need, not with what you want. Right. So I think with SEO Hacker, that's how we really get to survive. Like me, I don't spend a lot. I save most of what I make. I save most of what I make. And at the end of the day, like, how much money do you need to spend to be happy, right? It just doesn't add up. The amount of money you have does not dictate the amount of happiness you're gonna get. It would give you a sense of comfort and security, but I would say that's still pretty false, because at the end of the day, if you get sick, or if God decides to take away something important and valuable to you, then what use is money, right? Money is just a means to be able to get from point A to point B. And at the end of the day, I think money is there for us to give away to other people, bless other people, and glorify God as well. So with SEO Hacker, I make sure to give a lot of our resources as well. So God demands 10% of what we make. That's called a tithe. And as a Christian, I do practice tithing. I do pay my taxes right as well. And I also give to other people, and I help other pastors, other missionaries as well. I'm not going to say here how much money we give, but I make sure to help other people as well, and that helps SEO Hacker become a channel of blessings to other people, rather than hoarding that money, for like a rainy day. Rainy days come and go, but people you help, they're not going to forget that you helped them. And that for me is important. What's the best way to promote a business with social media? How did you do it? Well, it depends on what kind of business you have. Like, SEO Hacker is a B2B company. So I don't really promote on Facebook or Instagram, because people who are on Facebook and Instagram are usually the end consumers, B2C. So I don't run ads there, but I do run ads on YouTube, because there are people who like look at how-to videos there. So that for me is a little bit relevant. And LinkedIn. LinkedIn for me is a big deal, because there's a lot of B2B happening on LinkedIn. So running like social media advertising and postings on LinkedIn make more sense for me. Right now with LinkedIn, I'm running automations. So as to what automations those are, you could do some research about it. There are a lot of ways to automate LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn app as well, which I'm asking LinkedIn to approve right now. It's easy to apply and create your own LinkedIn app also. So yeah, I just focus on the social media platform that's right for you. There are companies and businesses that find Instagram and Facebook to be the right platform for them, and they run their campaigns and ads there. And we do run their campaigns and ads there as well. But in terms of SEO Hacker, it's a B2B business, so LinkedIn would be the most relevant platform for us. I hope that helps. I think that's the last question. Okay. Discord bot. Yeah. The Discord bot helps a lot, especially with people. I usually forget to do stuff, so that helps me a lot. And yeah, I think that is the last question. So if you guys haven't followed us yet on Spotify and YouTube, please do so. We are there. We are Leadership Stack. And we are going to give t-shirts away. I think we're giving one shirt away every 2 weeks. We haven't announced the link yet where you could join the giveaway. We are going to make it official. We are coding the giveaway platform where you could join and win the t-shirts. We have a lot of designs with the shirt. I think we have 9 right now. This is one of them. Again, I'm wearing it, but instead of me just showing it to you here and giving you a hard time checking it out, I'm just gonna roll the video, and in there you'd see the t-shirt in its entirety. That's one shirt, but this one, what I'm wearing, was not that one. I'm so sorry. That was the wrong video. Why don't I play the right video this time? There you go. Got the right video. Less of myself, more of a leader. So leadership is all about serving others. It's not thinking about yourself, not thinking about your position, but more of really just being there for people who need you in the team. So we made this shirt, less of myself, more of a leader, to remind ourselves and all you leaders out there that leadership is a tough job. And it's not about you. It's not about where you are. It's not about your position. It's not about you needing to get served, but you serving others. I hope that helps. And once we have the giveaway mechanics and platform, I will be sharing that with you on one Thursday night live, Leadership Stack Live. Once again, this is Sean, your host, and I am so glad that you guys were able to join me here. I hope this added value to you tonight, and I will see you